The night fell like a thick curtain, shrouding the forest in a stillness so dense it was almost suffocating. Wind rushed through the trees, producing eerie whispers in the darkness. Jack moved forward, step by step, his heart pounding. His eyes scanned the shadows, alert to every sound. Panic still gripped his chest as he recalled the moment Tu Tien had slipped from his grasp and fallen down a steep slope earlier that evening. "Tien," Jack called softly, his voice laced with worry. He couldn't shout. It would give away his position to those who might still be hunting them. But he had to find her. His mind raced with frightening possibilities. An injury, a wild animal, or worse, losing her in the vast wilderness. He followed faint traces on the ground, broken twigs, disturbed soil, anything that might lead him to her. Even as branches scraped his skin and sweat stung his eyes, Jack pressed on, refusing to stop. A soft rustle nearby made him freeze. He tilted his head, listening carefully, then quickly moved toward the sound. Parting a bush, Jack's breath caught in his throat. Tu Tien was curled up at the base of a tree, trembling with fear. "Jack," she whispered through tears. Without hesitation, Jack dropped to his knees and wrapped his arms around her, holding her tightly as if afraid she'd vanish. He buried his face in her hair, overwhelmed by the relief of finding her alive, breathing, still warm. "I'm so sorry. I never should have let you go," Jack murmured. She didn't blame him. She simply clung to him as tears rolled down her cheeks. In that moment, nothing else mattered. They couldn't risk returning the same way in the dark. The path was too dangerous, and they might still be followed. Jack helped her to her feet, and together they moved through the forest until they came upon a shallow cave carved into a rocky slope, just enough to provide shelter from the wind. Jack gathered fallen branches to block the entrance, then helped Tu Tien sit down against the stone wall. They huddled together, exhausted but too afraid to sleep. The forest outside remained alive with whispers and movements, noises that might be animals, or might not. Later, a sudden noise near the entrance made them both tense up. Jack instinctively shielded her and grabbed a thick stick, ready to defend them. But it was only a small civet darting past. Tu Tien's voice quivered. "I'm so scared. I never thought I'd be in a place like this." Jack gently touched her cheek. "We'll make it through. When morning comes, I'll find us a way out." That night, they stayed close, leaning against each other, drawing what warmth they could. Hunger gnawed at their stomachs. Fear clawed at their minds. Sleep came in short bursts, interrupted by every unfamiliar sound in the night. The hours passed agonizingly slowly. Finally, dawn crept in through the trees. The forest, while still wild, no longer felt like a tomb. Light brought hope. Tu Tien lay on Jack's shoulder, her face pale and weary. Jack stood, carefully pulling himself away. He stepped out into the morning forest, scanning the terrain. With no supplies, no knife, no pack, Jack searched for anything edible. After some time, he stumbled upon a wild banana tree. At its base hung a large banana blossom. Using a sharp stone, Jack cut it down and brought it back to the cave. Tu Tien offered a tired smile when she saw him. They peeled away the tough layers of the flour to reach the soft, pale heart. It wasn't much, but they ate slowly, grateful for the relief it brought. The bitterness was softened by a hint of sweetness, enough to chase away the worst of their hunger. "I never imagined banana blossoms could save us like this," Tu Tien murmured. Jack nodded. "As long as we're alive and together, we can survive anything." With some energy restored, they set off. Jack used the rising sun as a guide, along with the sound of a stream nearby. Step by step, they climbed down gentle slopes and pushed through fallen leaves and thick vines. When Tu Tien grew tired, they paused. When Jack's hand found hers, she held on tighter. Hours passed until a distant sound cut through the stillness. The low hum of a motorbike. Civilization. Jack quickened his pace, guiding her toward the noise. Soon, the trees thinned, and sunlight poured over them as they stepped out of the forest. Tu Tien squinted at the bright light. Jack turned to her, eyes soft, voice low. "From now on, I'll never let you walk in the dark alone again." The sun had barely risen above the treetops, with morning mist still drifting through the leaves, yet the atmosphere in the forest was already tense and suffocating. Deeper in the woods, dark-clad figures moved silently and professionally. They weren't wanderers or hunters. They were the men sent by Secretary Hung, returning to the forest to resume the search for Jack and Tu Tien after failing to capture them the previous night. This time, no mistakes. "She's not dead. He's still alive. Find them," one of them ordered coldly. They came equipped with thermal scanners, reflective flashlights, even mini-drones to scan paths from above. Last night, they believed they had control over the situation, but Jack had unexpectedly returned to rescue Tu Tien, turning a well-orchestrated ambush into a humiliating failure. Furious, Secretary Hung ordered an aggressive and thorough search. Every footprint must be found. Meanwhile, Jack and Tu Tien continued along a narrow trail near a small stream. The gentle sound of trickling water was the only sign that life still existed in this vast forest. But behind them, nearly silent footsteps pursued, closing in. Tu Tien glanced over her shoulder from time to time, a creeping unease never leaving her mind. Though they had left the cave, eaten a bit of wild banana blossom to regain some strength, and were trying to find a way out, her eyes remained filled with worry. "Jack, are you sure we're not being followed?" she whispered. Jack paused briefly, scanned the area, then nodded softly. "I'm not sure, but we have to keep going. If we stop, they'll catch up." For a long stretch with no sign of escape, they were forced to rest under the thick canopy of an old tree, its leaves forming a natural roof. It was hidden enough to avoid drone scans, but Jack knew they couldn't stay for long. At the same time, on the other side of the forest, a faint thermal signal appeared on one of the searchers' handheld devices. "Southeast direction. Movement detected," someone shouted, and the team immediately redirected, crashing through underbrush to shorten the distance. As Jack and Tu Tien pressed on, they began to sense the growing danger around them. not from gunfire or barking dogs, but from instinct, the most reliable tool during survival. The ground beneath them became wetter, more difficult to traverse. A small ledge loomed ahead. Jack carefully helped Tu Tien down before jumping after her. For the moment, they had evaded their pursuers, but Jack knew it wouldn't last. If they didn't escape the forest before nightfall, the situation would worsen. With machines, lights, and trained trackers, the enemy would gain the upper hand under darkness. We need to find signs of human activity, an old trail, a campsite, anything. If we're lucky, we might run into someone from a nearby village, Jack said. Tu Tien nodded, her legs already trembling. Her eyes flickered with hope, but deep inside, fear lingered, the fear of being captured, dragged back to a place of deceit where Jack might be silenced forever, and she left defenseless. Meanwhile, Secretary Hung remained far from idle. She was directing the operation remotely, demanding updates on every signal, every clue. I don't care how, just get results. If she survives, I lose everything, she snapped, her voice sharp. Ambition, fear, and desperation clouded her judgment, driving her to the brink. The deeper Jack and Tu Tien ventured, the rougher the terrain became. Roots tangled underfoot, slowing every step. They could no longer run, just keep moving forward, clinging to one another. Then, in a brief clearing, Jack spotted a carved mark on a tree, an arrow symbol. It was a signal left by forest goers to mark trails. It might lead to the forest edge, or an old shelter. But it could also be a trap set by their pursuers, using their knowledge of the forest to lure Jack and Tu Tien into an ambush. Should they follow it or turn back? Left or right? Time kept slipping away, and high above, the drone continued its silent patrol. Can Jack and Tu Tien make it out of the forest alive? Or will they be found, dragged back before the truth is revealed? Their fate now hangs by a thread, like a candle in the wind, one misstep away from being extinguished in the heart of this endless jungle.